There is a specific kind of tired that has nothing to do with sleep. You know it because you woke up inside it. 8 hours, maybe more. And you opened your eyes, and something in the chest was already heavy. Not sad, not anxious, just heavy. Like the day had weight before it had content. Like something was already being carried before anything had been asked of you. And you lay there, not because you were still sleepy. You were awake, completely awake. You could feel the ceiling. You could feel the light behind the curtain. You could feel the exact texture of being a person with a life that needed to be returned to. And for a few seconds, maybe longer, you did not return to it. You just lay there, breathing, existing, letting the morning sit on top of you like something you weren't sure you wanted to lift. Then you picked up the phone, not to check anything important. There was nothing important. You knew that before you looked. But the looking gave the hands something to do. And the hands doing something meant you did not have to feel what you were feeling in that moment before the phone. That strange, sourceless weight that arrived with the morning and asked nothing and said nothing, and yet somehow made the whole day feel like it needed to be negotiated. What was that? Not tiredness. You had slept. Not sadness. And nothing had happened. It was something older than both. Something that lives underneath the day, underneath the schedule, underneath the version of yourself you are about to perform for the next 16 hours. It surfaces in the morning because the morning is honest. Before the noise starts. Before the doing starts. Before you become the person who has things to do and places to be, in those few seconds of just waking, something in you is still unguarded. And in that unguarded moment, something true tries to come up. And most mornings, you bury it before it finishes rising. The phone was not a distraction. It was a burial. And the day went on. And you moved through it. And at some point, you sat down to do the thing. The thing you had been meaning to do. The thing that actually matters. The thing you told yourself last night you would begin with a clear mind first thing in the morning. And instead of beginning, something else happened. A thought appeared. Small, reasonable sounding. Maybe you need water. Maybe you should check that message first. Maybe the conditions aren't quite right yet. Maybe tomorrow, when you've had time to prepare properly, it would go better. And you listened, and the thing remained undone. And by evening, you were exhausted again, not from working, but from spending the entire day in low-level negotiation with yourself. And you called it laziness. You looked at what the day produced and you thought, I am just lazy. I don't have what it takes. Something is wrong with me at a level I can't fix. And that thought, that conclusion, it was wrong. Not comforting wrong. Factually wrong. What you have been calling laziness is not laziness. And the distinction matters, because if you are treating the wrong illness, the medicine does nothing. You take the productivity systems and the morning routines and the motivational content and the accountability partners, and none of it holds, because none of it is addressing what is actually happening. And what is actually happening, the real mechanism, the thing running below the surface of your intentions, is something most people go their entire lives without understanding. Laziness is absence of want. When there is no vision, no pull, no heat anywhere inside, when the soul is simply still, that is not you. You have ideas that keep you awake. You have a version of your life that lives somewhere just beyond your current one, and you can feel it. You have made real promises to yourself, not casual ones, real ones made in quiet moments when you were alone and honest and completely certain about what needed to change. You meant every word, and then something happened, not outside, inside. And this is the part nobody explains. Not because it is hidden, because it requires a kind of interior vocabulary that most people were never given. The vocabulary of the Nafs, the Qalb, the Ruh, not as theology to be believed, but as architecture to be understood. The actual structure of what is happening inside you when you try to move towards something real and find yourself not moving. The Nafs is the part of you that wants, but in the immediate, physical, surface sense of wanting. It wants comfort. It wants the familiar. It wants whatever removes the present discomfort and replaces it with ease right now, without waiting. The Nafs is not evil. It is not broken. It was given to you for a reason. In a world of genuine threat, real hunger, real danger, real unpredictable harm, the Nafs would be wisdom. Stay close to what is known. Avoid what is painful. Rest when possible. But you do not live in that world. You live in a world where the thing that will limit your life does not look like a threat. It looks like a comfortable morning. It looks like one more video. It looks like the completely reasonable decision to begin tomorrow when you are better rested and more mentally prepared. And the Nafs, which was designed to protect you from genuine harm, cannot tell the difference between real danger and the mild discomfort of beginning something difficult. To the Nafs, they feel the same, so it does what it was made to do. It stops you quietly, without announcement, without anything that feels like a decision being made. You simply find yourself not doing the thing, and you find in the place of the thing something softer, something easier, something that asked nothing of you. And you cannot fully explain how you got there because you did not consciously choose it. That is the first thing to see. The Nafs does not ask permission, and it has learned you. This is the part that should unsettle you, because the Nafs is not random. It is experiential. It has been learning your patterns for years. It knows which thoughts to produce at which moment to generate maximum resistance to the things that would produce growth. It knows that if it says, "I don't want to," you will override it. So it does not say that. It speaks in the language of reason. It gives you justifications that sound like your own clear thinking. It says, maybe the timing is off. It says, you need to feel ready. It says, you should plan a little more before you begin. These thoughts feel like wisdom. They are the Nafs wearing the mask of wisdom, and you accept them because they sound like you, because they arrive in your own voice, with your own cadence, shaped exactly like the kind of careful thinking you respect in yourself. And by the time you realize you've been redirected, you're already somewhere else, already in the easier thing, already past the moment where beginning was possible. This is why willpower fails. Not because you are weak, because willpower operates in the conscious mind, and the Nafs operates below it. You cannot outmuscle a system that runs at a level you're not even aware of. You would have to intercept every manufactured thought, every subtle redirect, every small permission the Nafs grants itself in real time, continuously, without rest. That is not discipline. That is exhaustion dressed up as discipline. And exhausted people do not change. They collapse back into whatever requires the least of them. You have probably tried. You probably have a graveyard somewhere of routines that lasted a week, challenges that broke on day 9, alarms you set with genuine intention that now carry a specific sound of defeat. And each time the routine collapsed, you added it to the evidence that you are someone who cannot follow through, that the problem is permanent, that this is simply who you are. But the evidence was misread, because the collapse was never proof of character. It was proof that you were fighting in the wrong arena. Now go deeper. The Qalb, the heart, and not the heart as poetry, not the heart as the place feelings live, the way Western culture uses the word. The Qalb, in its true meaning, is the center of the human being. It is where Iman takes root, where intention is formed, where the self is oriented. When the Qalb is unified, when it is pointed at something real, something that actually matters, it pulls. You feel this pull on the rare days when everything inside is aligned. When you wake up and you already know what you're doing and why. When the work flows and the hours pass without negotiation. When even the difficulty feels purposeful. That state is not luck. It is what happens when the Qalb has direction. And when the Qalb is fractured, when it is pointed at 17 things at once, when it has been pulled in every direction by everything competing for it, it cannot pull you anywhere because it has no direction. And a heart with no direction does not produce a life with direction. It produces days that feel like repetition without progress, effort without landing, the sensation of motion without the experience of arrival. This is where you are, not broken, fragmented. There is a difference, and the difference matters because broken things need replacement, but fragmented things need gathering. Your Qalb is fragmented because you live in an environment designed deliberately, expensively, by teams of very intelligent people. To keep it that way, every notification, every feed, every carefully engineered loop of anticipation and release. These are not accidents of technology. They are systems built with one purpose: to keep your attention scattered, because scattered attention is profitable. A Qalb that has no direction will reach for whatever is offered, and everything around you is offering, but here is what they cannot offer, the thing the Qalb is actually looking for. Not content, not stimulation, not the relief of distraction. The Qalb is looking for direction, for something real enough to orient around, for something that does not shift when the mood changes, or the circumstances change, or the motivation fades. And that thing, whatever it is for you, whatever is true and weighty and worth building a life around, cannot be found in a feed. It can only be found in stillness. And stillness is the one thing the environment is most committed to preventing. So the Qalb stays scattered, and the Nafs fills the vacuum. And from the outside and from the inside, it looks exactly like laziness. Think about the promises you have broken to yourself, not the small ones, the real ones. The kind made in the rare moments when the noise cleared, when something happened, or something was read, or it was late and quiet, and you could suddenly see your life with unusual clarity. And in that clarity, you made a promise. You said, "This is changing. I am different from tonight." And you felt it. The words were not performance. The intention was real. And then the clarity faded, and the Nafs returned to its natural posture, and the days passed, and the promise dissolved without announcement. And one morning, you woke up and realized you were still the same person you were when you made the promise. And something in you, not quite shame, not quite grief, something that has no clean name, settled a little deeper. Why does this happen? In the moment of clarity, something shifts. The noise quiets briefly. The nafs is overruled. And in that rare silence, the ruh is audible. The ruh, the deepest part of you, the part that is not entirely of this world, shows you something real. The vision that comes in those moments is not fantasy. It is genuine perception. It is the ruh revealing what is actually possible. But the nafs is patient. It does not fight the vision in the moment. It knows that morning brings friction, hunger, the weight of ordinary physical existence, and it waits. It waits for the resistance. And when resistance comes, it moves. And by the time you feel yourself off course, you're already far from where you intended to be. And the vision feels distant now, and distant things are easier to defer. This cycle has a shape. The clarity breaks a promise. The broken promise produces shame. The shame closes the Qalb. The closed Qalb cannot receive direction. Without direction, the Nafs leads. The Nafs leads toward avoidance. Avoidance produces more shame. And the shame makes you believe the problem is permanent, and permanent problems are not worth fighting. This is the loop. This is what you have been living inside of. And the cruelest part of it is what it does to your relationship with yourself. Because when you believe the collapse is yours, when you believe it is a character flaw, a fundamental insufficiency, a proof of something broken, you start performing instead of working. You keep the tabs open. You have the plans. You organize the files and talk about what you're building. You maintain the appearance of someone who is doing the thing, because actually doing the thing risks actually failing. An actual failure in a state of deep shame feels unsurvivable, so the performance becomes the substitute, and the real thing gets further away. Now the ruh, this is the quietest part, and because it is the quietest, it is the most ignored. The ruh is the breath of something greater, breathed into the first human being. It is the part of you that does not belong entirely to this world. And this is not metaphor. It is architecture. It is the part that has a different relationship with time than the nafs does. The nafs lives entirely in now. The ruh has no urgency. It does not panic. It does not compete. But it knows. You have felt this knowing. In the moments after you made the real promises, it was the ruh that showed you what was possible. In the moments when you heard something true, something that landed differently than ordinary information, something that made you feel seen, that recognition came from the ruh. In the particular ache of potential that is not being used, the specific restlessness that has no external cause, the feeling that something is off even when nothing you can name is wrong. That is the ruh. Signaling. The ruh does not shout. It cannot compete with the volume of the nafs or the noise of the environment. It whispers. And in a life designed to be loud, whispers do not reach you, but they never stop. The ruh keeps sending the same signal quietly, without frustration, without giving up. The signal is what brought you here tonight. Not curiosity, not entertainment, something quieter than that. Something that knew you needed to hear this. And here is what it all becomes when you put it together. You are not lazy. You are a person whose qalb has been systematically scattered by an environment designed to scatter it, whose nafs has been trained by years of small choices, by every moment you reached for ease before you examined why, by every time you gave the nafs what it asked for without negotiation, to operate with increasing automaticity, whose ruh has been trying to reach you through the noise and finding less and less silence to move through. This is the architecture, not a character, a condition. And conditions can change when you finally see what is actually producing them. Every time you pick up the phone because you feel mild discomfort, not because anything important is there, but because sitting with the small tension of an unfinished thought feels like too much, you are not just wasting minutes. You are training the Nafs. You are teaching it that all it has to do is produce a signal of discomfort and you will respond immediately. And the Nafs learns. It lowers the threshold. What once required real difficulty to trigger the escape response now requires almost nothing. A vague thought, a slight restlessness, and you reach. And now the training runs in both directions. Every time you sit with the discomfort, not through force, not through gritted teeth and white-knuckled discipline, but through genuine presence, through choosing to remain even when the pull is there, you are also training. You are teaching the Nafs that discomfort is survivable, that the other side of resistance is real. Slowly, the threshold changes, not dramatically, not in a week, but it changes. The automaticity breaks a little. A gap appears between the signal and the response, and in that gap, something can choose. That gap is where you actually live. Most people have almost no gap. The signal arrives and the response follows before anything conscious can intervene. They are not making choices. They are executing programs written by years of unconsidered habit. But the gap can be widened, not through violence against yourself, through something slower and more sustainable, through the process of gathering the Qalb, reducing the scatter, choosing deliberately what the heart will be oriented toward. The scholars understood this. This is why they did not speak only of mujahada, the striving against the nafs, without also speaking of tazkiyah, purification, not of actions first, of the inner state first, because a qalb that is clean and oriented produces aligned action naturally, without forcing, without the daily negotiation, without the graveyard of broken routines. A qalb genuinely oriented toward something greater than the nafs's offerings will look at what the nafs offers and simply not be interested. Not because you decided it is unimportant, because the qalb has tasted something it cannot compete with. And distraction, from that vantage point, is genuinely small, not something you fight, something that lost its hold because the qalb has somewhere real to be. And you have felt this in the rare moments of genuine prayer that was not mechanical, in the early mornings before the phone was touched, in the middle of work that mattered so much that you forgot yourself completely in the doing. In those moments, no part of you was looking for escape, because nothing in you wanted to be anywhere else. Those moments are not accidents. They are the human being in alignment, and they can become more frequent, not through exhaustion, through clarity about what produces them and what destroys them, what produces them. A qalb with direction, the nafs quiet, the ruh audible, real meaning felt in the body, not just understood in the head. What destroys them? Scatter, the constant feeding of every small craving the nafs generates, the training of yourself through 1,000 small daily moments to be immediately available to comfort. So here is the real question. Not what are your goals, not what do you want to achieve, not what would your life look like if you finally got serious. What is your qalb actually pointed at? Not what you say it is pointed at, not the vision you constructed in a moment of clarity and framed on the wall of your intentions. What is it pointed at in practice, in the texture of your actual days, in the first thing you reach for in the morning, in the last thing you look at before sleep, in what gets your best hours and what gets whatever is left? Because the Qalb follows attention, and attention follows habit. And habits were built from every unconsidered small choice made over months and years. And those habits are the real answer to the question. The heaviness you felt this morning when you woke up, before the phone, before the day started, in the honest, unguarded moment, that was the distance between where your Qalb is pointed and where it knows it should be. That distance has a feeling. You have been calling it tiredness. It is not tiredness. It is the Ra, present and quiet as always, still waiting for the noise to clear enough that you might finally hear what it has been trying to tell you. You are not lazy. You never were. Something in you already knew that. That's why you're still here.